finally, Food Wars has finally returned. I have been waiting for this series just as much as certain other series for this anime season, and I'm just glad to have it back. I mean, what an episode. What an episode to return to. I mean, the content within this episode was some good old quality. The arena stuff. My god, like, the nightgown and stuff, I'm gonna say, like, I like it. I like that. Now, before I go any further, I'm just gonna say right now that if this is the first time you've ever seen me make a video on Food Wars, or this is the first time you've ever, for some reason, have, like, heard of this series, then stop what you're doing and watch Food Wars. Shokugeki no Soma is an amazing anime, and I know I've heard many good things about the manga as well. So, I mean, if you want something good to read or watch, start Food Wars. Great series. I love it so far, and I'm just glad to have it back. So anyways, with that being said, this latest episode picks up right where the last season left off. Now, to begin, let's talk about the next big hurdle that our characters are going to have to overcome. Number one, we have this exam coming up. Now, when it comes to exams, this is something that we have seen constantly, consecutively throughout, Shokugeki no Soma. We have seen to where our characters have to go through, like, a training camp. They have to, go out and learn and go to another restaurant to learn how to cook, different things like this. It has been something that's been very common in Shokugeki no Soma. We have seen this constantly. Even in the last season, there was something like this as well. However, the upcoming hurdle that our characters need to overcome is going to be very different from any other, like, training camp they've ever had to face. And the reason why is because the exam is literally meant to make them fail. Literally meant to make it to where they will not be able to pass. So what I mean by that is as we know, with Reina's father, he has taken control of the entire school. He has made it to where everybody has to follow a certain curriculum, and if they don't follow that certain curriculum, they are going to get, expelled, or they don't belong here anymore. If you don't do it his way, it's the highway. And because of that, if you're not following in line, they don't want you here, and that's kind of what the exam is. The exam is here to make it to where if you don't follow what the president of the school, the principal wants, then obviously you don't belong here. You need to get the hell out. And that is the problem right now. As we know, Soma and his entire group, Polar Star, they don't want to fall in line. They want to be free, make their own food, make their own dishes, and I discussed this in the last season. The whole reason of why they're fighting against it is because it's kind of how it should be in the first place. Like, I mean, trying to learn new things, experiment, and that's how new things are born. However, the way, Arena's father is, he wants to completely just nip that to where no new ideas pop up in a way. And I discussed this in depth, and I'm not going to rehash what I said from the previous, part of Food Wars. But to get right into it, though, this next challenge that they're about to face is probably going to be the hardest one they've ever had to overcome, just because, like I said, it's meant to make them fail. There isn't really much choice for them to go out of their way and try to overcome it. They're going to have to play by their rules, and they're also going to have to, figure out a way to make the judges and everybody happy with this exam, or the people that's doing the test and stuff, to make them happy with them, even though they're not really going to try to fall in line with what the principal wishes. So, moving past that, let's talk about Arena for a second. So, Arena, as a character, I've never really seen her as my bona fide, favorite female character. Like, I've said this quite a few times, actually, in my previous season reviews of Food Wars, that I like Reina. She's a great character, but she's always been a little bit, annoying in a way. Like, she's always seemed a little more soon than dairy to me, and I've never been the biggest fan of her. Now, I know that she's, the main, female character, and if this series is going to have romance or anything, most likely she's going to be the main, love interest for Soma. But that's another topic. The big thing here is that Arena, at this time, after this episode, I am really starting to warm up to her character. I was already kind of warming up to her character in, the previous, part of Season 3, but now seeing this episode, it just, makes me realize that she's a really nice character. When she's not being all, stubborn or mean and all that, or vicious, she's a pretty likable character, and just seeing how she was being like she was in this episode towards Soma, I couldn't help but say that she's just adorable. I mean, even, some of the motives and all that, and, how she refound or rekindled her passion for cooking thanks to Soma, that actually gave me quite a smile. So let's get right into that. So the big point of this episode, which it's very simple and I think the majority can grasp it by looking at this episode, the main point though is Arena, rekindling her passion, finding her love for cooking, finding her answer to why she wants to be a chef in the first place. And we get a little bit of information that she doesn't really enjoy cooking. She doesn't really have passion for it anymore because, all her life she's been forced to, taste food and all that. And, she's had to, cook and all this. And she kind of lost that passion over time just because of how her life has been. And thanks to Soma in this episode, he kind of woke up the sleeping Arena that has wanted to cook all along and has lost, that, happiness of being a chef. And now that she's back in order, she realizes what she wants to do. She's willing to try to steer Polar Star to victory to whether or not expelled or removed from the school. So that's the main objective of what this episode is trying to accomplish. Arena really developed, and that was the main point of it. But let's talk about how it was done in the first place. So Arena, as we know, she has always been this stubborn character, and ever since Soma was, introduced to her, we know that she always called his food disgusting. She always was saying, "You're disgusting, bad food, whatever." She would never say that his food was good. Even at times to when we knew for a fact that Arena was enjoying the food, she just didn't want to admit it because she was a tsundere. She didn't want to admit that Soma was actually a good chef. And that's one of the big reasons why I never really liked her that much, just because how she was that stubborn. But now seeing in this episode to where she finally got to meet the person that was like her idol, like the son of her idol, Saiba, she got to meet, Soma and realize, Soma is her idol's son. And she's like, oh crap, that's insane. Because we know she has a lot of feelings for, Soma's father. And now actually knowing that Soma was the son of her idol, that's going to change her overall perspective on Soma quite a bit, most likely. You can even see in this episode to where she actually compares Soma and Saiba together just to show how they're very similar in their ways of cooking. They both experiment and try new ways to make a new dish, and she realized that in this episode of how similar they really are, and it's been right in front of her all this time. But anyways, Soma, he says, look, my objective, ever since I have been here, I've been meaning to make it to where you say that my cooking is delicious. I want you to taste my food, and I want you to say delicious. And that's been his objective ever since he first was introduced to Arena. And now you can see in this episode that Arena didn't really give him a straight up answer. She didn't even say that his food was good or not. She didn't say it was bad or good. She just didn't even answer the man. She just straight up ignored his question and just decided to, persuade Polar Star to keep fighting and try to go against her father. So I'm just like, Arena, it's obvious that you like the food, especially from the foodgasm that happened in this episode. And oh my god, that fan service, Arena, quality. Straight quality. But, yeah. I wonder if Soma's gonna get his answer. That is something I'm very curious about because of how this episode was done. Will she admit once all of this is over? Once this, little portion of the story is done and they pass their exams, I wonder if Arena will give Soma the answer he actually desires. Who knows? Knowing Arena, though, how she's like a tsundere, she probably is going to say it's disgusting, and he's going to continue to make more food until she just cannot hold back her emotions anymore, and she just has to say that, it's delicious, one or the other. But, this episode overall, it's simple. It's a simple return to Food Wars, but I think I couldn't have had it any other way. It did teach me quite a few things. I actually did not know that you could freeze eggs in a way, low-quality eggs, to make the yolk taste better. That's something I actually never knew about, and I think that's one of the other reasons why I love this series so much. I'm no chef, okay? I don't really consider myself a really good cook. I'm not. I'm going to admit that. But every time I watch Food Wars, it does teach me things that I never really knew about of how to cook certain food. And seeing how Soma was able to cook eggs in a way to taste like that, I'm just like, next time I get me a batch of eggs, I'm probably going to stick them in the freezer a little bit just to see how they might taste. I'm very curious to see if the yolk does enhance like that. Soma does follow, Shokugeki no Soma does follow certain recipes and they're real recipes, so I'm curious on how it would enhance certain eggs and all that when I finally do try it. But yeah, that's about it when it comes to the latest episode and the first episode of the new season of Food Wars. I do believe that this is episode 13 instead of season 4, though. I believe so. If I am wrong there, you can correct me in the comments below. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Food Wars has officially returned, and it's looking to be pretty fun and high quality as it normally is. Now, one last thing to mention, though, before I do end this video, the opening song. The opening song's okay. I don't think it's anything amazing. I don't think it's bad. It's okay. Anyways, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like, and I love you guys. Chibi out.